Hi, welcome to the school board meeting. My name is Shauna Dinsmore. I'm here this evening to discuss with you all the data that I have been studying for quite some time and what the data is showing me about our math scores in particular. The first thing I want to do is to provide you with an outline of what you're going to hear tonight. The first thing I'm going to talk about, just as I mentioned earlier, is to discuss current demographics of our middle school perceptions, student learning, and school processes relating to our school. The next thing I'm going to do is desegregate the data with you all. This is an important process, perhaps one of the most important processes, because desegregating this data allows us to find the issue or problem that we're having with math, and it also tells us how we need to solve the issue or problem. The next thing I'm going to do, as I just mentioned, is use that data to determine a current issue within mathematics, and I basically just stated that and the importance of it. Next, I'm going to use that data and multiple findings to determine a course of action for our school, a real world course of action that we can put into place to get positive results. And that leads me to my next and last point that I'm going to make here at the school board meeting is to ultimately provide a solution to our issue. First thing I want to talk about is demographics, and I want you to understand and know what demographics are before we really get into the true real information of our school. As you can see here on my clip art, I've got income, education, gender. This is a basic overview of what demographics are, characteristics of a population. For example, what is the ratio between girls to boys? What's the student population of this particular school? How many teachers do we have in the school, etc. The next thing that I looked at were perceptions. Perceptions reflect opinions or views of our stakeholders. For example, parents. Do the parents feel like we are fulfilling our mission here at our middle school? Do the community or business owners that influence our school, do they feel that we are providing a quality education? What are their perceptions of our school? As you can see in my picture, one person views the glass as half full, one views the glass as half empty. We all have different perceptions, and it's so important that we realize and understand each other's perceptions so we can make changes. If we don't know what someone thinks about our middle school, how could we possibly make changes and ever be on the same page? The next thing that I looked at was student learning, which you can see is standardized tests, teacher observations, and authentic assessment. Standardized tests range from your Iowa tests, your end of course exams, benchmark. Teacher observations can be anything from observing students in a small group to observing an experiment or a presentation in front of the class. This particular data, especially in standardized tests, allowed me to look closely at our math scores and determine how our student learning has progressed or um, not progressed so much within the last 3 years. Lastly, I looked at school processes. This deals with instruction, curriculum, and assessment, and you can see that assessment almost overlaps with student learning. Instruction, for example, here at our middle school, we use CMP math. This is the type of learning that these students are being introduced to, and this is what our teachers are teaching. This is extremely important to know because, one, students need to respond to the type of instruction they are receiving, and is the CMP math giving them the type of instruction that they need. So looking at that data, I was able to conclude or make a decision about how the CMP math is providing instruction and how our teachers are teaching the curriculum. Now I want us to actually look at the real and true data of our middle school and of the students who attend our middle school. All of this is important, and there's several slides of it, but it's so important to understand our students so that I can make and we can make a fair judgment, an unbiased judgment about why we're having issues with our math scores. And yes, the median household income matters to a child's math scores, and we're going to get into that a little later on. Our economic base here for the median household is estimated to be $27,049. This is an increase, which is surprising, in income compared to previous years. $27,000 a year is not a lot of money. Population here is 9,778. This is an increase of 6.9% as of 2000. The town's estimated child poverty rate is 30%, which I found relatively high compared to our population. This is the town's estimated poverty. Our school serves all of the children in our town. The next piece of data that I looked at was our school data. How is our school made up? We are a middle school and we house 6th through 8th grade. Currently, our student population is 537, 275 males and 262 females. Our average class size is 26 students. I consider this valuable information. 26 students for one teacher is relatively large, in my opinion, while teaching math. Of course, this is an average class size. Usually, one or two of those classes will have less than 26 students per class, but this is also something to keep in the back of our minds. Racial backgrounds here at our school, we range from Caucasian, African American, Hispanic, Asian, and Native American. So we are a diverse school. This is just continued. Our school district is public school. We have 5 separate schools here: the elementary, intermediate, middle school, high school. We also have an OEC, or occupational educational school. The entire student body and staff at the middle school uses Google Documents as their email. The staff at the middle school also uses Google Connected as an instructional tool. The school receives federal grants in the amount of $232,755 and some change. Student population over time, you can see that we really haven't gained. We've actually stayed almost the same. We had a larger jump from 12-13 to 13-14. For the years 10-11 and 11-12, we remained at 500 students. We gained 4 in 12-13, and then we jumped quite a bit to 527 this year. Student population over time by grade level. You can look at 10-11 and 11-12. Not much of that changed. You can see 10-11, we had 160 in the 6th grade, 161 in the 7th, 179 in the 8th grade. So that didn't change very much, even up until last year, the year 12-13. You can see, though, this year in particular, we have got quite a large 8th grade class. So this does make a difference, especially this year, having more students. Students over time, the retention rate last year was 1 female. This is students being held back and repeating a grade. 1 female in the 6th grade, 3 males and 1 female in the 7th grade, and 1 male and 4 females in the 8th grade. So combined, the middle school held back 10 kids altogether in 3 grades. So the extracurricular activities here are football, soccer, basketball, track, cheerleading, gymnastics, band, and choir. The middle school has an after-school tutoring program for all students who want to attend. I should also mention that the students who score basic or below basic on benchmark have to serve 30 to 45 days depending on their score. That's a law. They have to or they will be retained. So we also have after school tutoring for these students to come and make up for scoring below or basic or below basic. Currently at the school district, we have 56.79% of our students recognized as free or reduced lunch. So this is a little bit more than half that are recognized as free or reduced lunch. Discipline records for last year, this includes the school district. The numbers are relatively small until you get to insubordination and disorderly conduct. Drugs, tobacco, truancy a bit high, 94. Student assault 3, teacher assault 1, knife 3, handgun rifle 3, vandalism 2. And then you look at insubordination and you have 538. And then you look at disorderly conduct and you have 556. These numbers are high, and that tells me that students are spending a lot of time in the office or at ISS. There's 240, bullying 28, fighting 102, which I would consider relatively high. Students who fight are automatically sent to ISS, so that's at least 3 days that they're missing out from math class. Number of dropouts and withdrawals by district this year. Incarcerated, this is once again the entire school, and it does include our ISS, ALE centers, and our local Presbyterian home. These students may not necessarily attend school every day, but they are considered a student at our school. We have 178 incarcerated, 1 failing, economic hardship 1, pregnancy, marriage 8, peer conflict 1, alcohol, drugs 1, health issues 19. When I look at the incarcerated, I definitely see a huge jump here. And if you're spending time in jail, then you're definitely not spending time learning math. However, this is for the entire school. I cannot say that this is limited to just the middle school. Last year, we graduated a total of 139 students. The entire school district has 156 gifted and talented students, and of those students, 23 are free and reduced lunch. There are 498 students who speak English and 6 students who speak Spanish. After looking at all of that data and seeing what our school district in middle school is made of, and looking at the behavior reports and those who spend time out of class, I was ready to determine a current issue within the middle school math area and support this issue with relevant test data. I'm about to show you our test data, and I think that the graph speaks for itself. These are our math scores within the past 2 years with a 3-year average, so basically 3 years. Literacy, we're not focusing on, as you can see in literacy, if I just touch on it for a second, in 11-12 we were above our expected goal. In 12-13 last year, we were almost at our expected goal. And then you look here at math, and it's really just amazing or astounding at how far away we were from our expected goal. It's a huge jump. and you can see in the year 11, 12, and 12, 13 that we did not improve. We actually de you know we went up just a tiny bit in 12, 13, but nothing marginal. Tag students, the title of the graphs, tag students performance and benchmark. TAG stands for Targeted Achievement Gap Group. These are special education students and students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, or any student who is in danger of failing. So once I saw this, and I actually looked at the data, and then I created this graph, and I thought, wow, here's our issue. And now that I've found it, we can solve it. So that is my next step for you all here at this meeting. Identify the problem, and I've already went over this a little bit. The Targeted Achievement Gap Group, or TAG, is what I will refer to them as in the rest of this PowerPoint, is continually scoring low on the end of year exams in math. Why this problem exists. Multiple factors are contributing to the cause. After looking at the data, looking at our parental involvement in all of these aspects, I have found 4 main factors that contribute. The first one is parental involvement. The second is family income. 3, student behavior. The last one's teacher effectiveness. I'm going to talk about each one of these things on the following slides and explain why they are factors and how they make a difference in our students' math scores and education overall. Parental involvement. I've done quite a bit of research on parental involvement. And as you can see, my clip art really just says it all. Parental involvement, the foundation for student success. Parents plus teachers equals successful kids. So, which it's very true. Parental involvement in a child's home life create the entire effect of a child's effort in school and school test scores. Several reasons why we lack parental involvement at our school. One, looking at the education rate of our parents. Parents may not see the value of education. Parents don't care about students' education. Parents aren't necessarily trained on how to help their students in math, so they cannot be involved in helping them learn. So this is a big issue, and I consider it one of the contributing factors. The next factor that I feel strongly about is family income. According to Barry, which is a author, socioeconomic students test scores and school performance because of lack of vital resources and stress created from home. Socioeconomic status affects students' test scores and school performance because of lack of vital resources and stress created from home. This is very true. I've actually seen this firsthand. Students who lack the financial resources usually lack resources for school, and it can be something as simple as a notebook and pencil that their parents won't get for them, or they don't have the money to buy for them. So when they come to school, they're embarrassed. Another case could be stress created from home. Mom and dad are arguing about money, or who's going to pay this bill, or how are we going to eat tonight. And this creates stress for the child. So when they're sitting in math class, they're not necessarily worried about x plus y equals z. They're thinking about, how's mom going to pay the light bill, or how is dad going to provide us supper tonight. And unfortunately, students, especially at the middle school age, really become introduced to real world problems. And this is a big factor in our students' scores and their education. The next thing I looked at With student behavior, discipline at our school is relatively high. I mean, combined, we have over 1,000 behavior reports, you know, and that's high. With this high rate, students spend more time in the office or in school suspension than they do in the classroom, and that's extremely true. Um, just from being a teacher, when a child goes to ISS, we send them work, and they're not actually getting instruction time. They're having to read my directions and do it on their own, and 9 times out of 10, the students don't do the math problems right because they weren't there in class to learn. So this is a big deal. We need to be keeping our kids in the classroom. Last thing, teacher effectiveness. More effective teachers have less discipline issues. Therefore, they can teach the material needed for students to learn. If you have a teacher whose classroom management isn't as savvy as others, that teacher will suffer because oftentimes she spends more time with getting the class to settle down and to start the class period than she actually does with instruction time, or he can go both ways. And so when I'll get into the suggestions for teacher effectiveness later, but effective teachers spend more time in the classroom, less time disciplining. Therefore, the students are receiving more of an education and they're learning more. Solving the problem, things that need to change. I have a list of outcomes of increased teacher effectiveness, increased parental involvement, parent-student surveys, decreased student behavior reports, and increased test scores from TAG students. The performance indicators and how I will know that these outcomes are slowly becoming real is by classroom walkthroughs and discussions at weekly grade meetings, attendance logs of parents attending after-school events and parent-teacher conferences, number of behavioral reports from month to month, and higher percentage of TAG students scoring proficient or advanced. So I will be able to look at my performance indicators and say, okay, have we improved on our issue or have we not improved on our issue? Actual steps we will take here at the school. This is the real plan that we will take. Administrators will conduct classroom walkthroughs and advise teachers. Teachers will attend classroom management and differentiated instruction workshops. This also ties into teacher effectiveness workshops. Students and parents. Um, Students will work on behavior. Parents will attend after-school activities, including parent-teacher conference that encourage their impact on students' learning and how to be more involved with their child's school. Lastly, community members will help advertise for the school when parents' nights are coming up. For example, just posting a flyer at local businesses that parents go to often. An actual visual layout of this, we have tasks, help teachers decrease discipline issues and use differentiated instruction, who's responsible, administration and teachers. How will we do this? By funding workshops and having presenters. Our desired result here is to have teachers to have greater rapport with students. Students are learning with success. We then go into increased parental involvement. That's administration, teachers, students, and parents. Everyone's involved there in funding tools for research, for reaching parents, places to hold after-school events, and then our desired result is for parents to be more involved with their children's schoolwork activities. Inspire students to give their best effort. This involves everyone. Inspire workshops, particularly that's meant for teachers. And for teachers to show enthusiasm in the classroom, to not be bored with what they're doing, but to show students that their education is important. And our desired result is for students to participate in class and ask questions, particularly questions that they have with a math problem they don't understand. Lastly, to make our after-school tutoring program known Who's responsible for this? We have administration and teachers, resources needed, flyers, letters to parents, internet website, the desired results, more students to attend after school. After school provides students with the tutoring they need, specifically for math, especially. This will help them to become more successful with their math work and in the long run score better on whatever end of the year test that they may have. How does this help our mission and everyone overall? By contributing to the success of our students and providing a challenging education to each child. And I would just want to leave you with, if we work together, if everyone works together, we can solve this problem. We must take small steps, and eventually we will see the increase in parental involvement, the increase in student behavior, or less student behavior reports. We're going to start seeing leaps and bounds, and I truly believe that we can increase our scores if we continually look at the data, always assess our students and know where they are, where they need to go, but also listen to what the data is telling us. And I have presented to you everything that I think the data is telling us and how, according to the data, we can help our students here at the middle school. So let's all work together.